Okay, so have you seen this new Subnautica 2 trailer? I mean, wow, people are going nuts for this, and for good reason. But you know us, we're not just about the flashy visuals, we gotta go deeper. What's this footage really telling us about the game we'll actually get to play?
Yeah, you gotta love a good cinematic trailer, gets the hype going.
Yeah.
But part of what we do here is sift through that, right? Separate the sizzle from the steak, figure out what Subnautica 2 will feel like to actually play.
And let me tell you, there are hints everywhere.
Yeah.
Like right out the gate, bam! This colossal crab monster thing, I'm talking, makes the Reapers from the first game look like little shrimps or something.
Subnautica always did a great job at making you feel small, vulnerable, right?
Mhm.
This new creature. Seems like they're taking that to a whole nother level. Though it is interesting, it's intimidating as heck, but then the player just swims away. Relatively unharmed, too.
Yeah. Got me thinking, what if that's our first clue about how enemies are going to work this time? Like, not just mindless attack machines, but maybe more complex AI, like aggro conditions before they go full-on Leviathan on you?
Aggro conditions. Love it. Basically, you do certain things, get too close to their nest maybe, who knows, even look at them wrong, and then it's on. Adds a whole new dimension to how you navigate right. Be more strategic, pay closer attention to the environment.
Yeah. You can't just assume everything's out to kill you. Gotta learn how they behave in the wild, adjust accordingly. Almost like, actual nature documentaries, but you're the one diving. Speaking of which, water currents. Back with a vengeance, apparently. They were in the first Subnautica, briefly, then gone. Now, they're back.
A lot of games, they use currents as a challenge, like remember Breath of the Wild, trying to climb in the wind. Now imagine that underwater with limited oxygen and, oh yeah, something might be hunting you down there.
Oh, that's cruel. But kind of brilliant. And hey, it wouldn't be Subnautica without some slick new tech to help us survive, right?
Yeah.
Cue that mysterious new vehicle in the trailer. It's a submersible, for sure, but our sources say, not a Seamoth, not a sea truck, something new.
And here's the thing that's got me curious. Single-person design, from the looks of it. Which, with Subnautica 2 being co-op, that's intriguing, right? Could mean a couple things.
Lay it on me.
Well, it could be each player gets their own specialized vehicle. Encourages teamwork, different roles, like one person's the scout, the other one gathers resources, that kind of thing.
Oh, I'm into it. Or, hear me out. What if you start with a basic sub, but then as you explore, you find upgrades, modules, rewards players for going off the beaten path?
Right. Like imagine finding a module that gives you a drilling arm, or maybe a sonar blast to scare off those aggressive creatures we were just talking about. Adds a whole other layer of progression.
Okay, but for a hot second, we gotta Tia talk about that Kraken-looking behemoth. Like, seriously, those glowing bits, the sheer size of that thing, classic Subnautica weirdness, and I am here for it.
It's definitely going to be a major player, that much is clear. The way they revealed it at the climax of the trailer, plus that deep, almost abyssal environment it's in, I'm thinking late game encounter. Maybe even a boss fight, who knows?
Oh, 100% a boss fight. And you know the devs are gonna throw some crazy curveballs our way when it comes to taking that thing down. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. Let's switch gears for a bit. Talk about those in-game screenshots they released. Lot of juicy details hidden in there.
Absolutely. The trailer sets the mood, gives us the broad strokes, but those screenshots, those are our glimpses into the specifics.
Like that shot of the volcanic biome. Stunning, right? And if you look closely, back there, what is that? Looks like a barracuda shark. Subnautica fans, you know what I'm talking about. Fast, aggressive, and back to ruin our day.
And right next to it, something that looks an awful lot like a mesmer. If you remember the first game, those things were nightmares.
Yeah.
Played with your perception, hypnotized you. They're not just bringing back old threats, they're doubling down on that psychological tension that made the original so effective.
Right. But there was something else in that screenshot that really jumped out at me. Look at the player's hands. No gloves. What's that about?
Our source is speculating that it might be a hint at a character creator, something that wasn't in the first game. Imagine customizing your diver. Different suits with different pros and cons.
Oh, now we're talking like a lighter suit that lets you move faster in the shallows, or a heavier suit that can withstand the pressure down deep but makes you slower. The possibilities.
Exactly. And it plays right into that core Subnautica loop of choice and consequence, right? Every decision matters.
All right, I could geek out about dive suits all day, but there's one more screenshot I gotta pick your brain about. The one with the scanner tool. Doesn't it look way more advanced?
It does. And this is where it gets really interesting because this could tie into some of the deeper lore from Subnautica. Remember the precursors, that ancient super advanced race from the first game.
Oh, I see where you're going with this.
What if this new scanner incorporates some of their tech?
Ooh, man, that would be amazing. The first game, the way it ended, left so many questions about the precursors, their history. To think we might be able to use their own technology to uncover those secrets, that's incredible.
Right. Adds a whole other layer to the exploration, doesn't it? Not just about what you find, but understanding it, piecing together the story of this world.
Okay, hold your seahorses. Before we go full conspiracy theory on ancient aliens, let's reel it back in, yeah. That fact sheet, the one the devs released alongside all this gorgeous eye candy,
Oh yeah, that's the good stuff. Hard details, music to my ears.
tell me about it. And no disappointments here, let me tell you. First up, boom, co-op confirmed, up to 4 players.
Which, I mean, we kind of saw coming, right? But still, getting that confirmation, exciting stuff, and 4 players. Think of the teamwork potential. Massive underwater bases built together, or splitting up different objectives at the same time.
Oh, and you just ANOW, classic Subnautica here, getting chased by some Leviathan-class beastie, but this time, 3 of your buddies are screaming right alongside you. Co-op horror, perfected.
Oh, the Let's Plays are going to be gold-y. But, for real, this changes the game, right? Resource management. Now it's a team effort. Pool everything. Specialize. Each person gathers certain stuff. Whole new layer of strategy.
And speaking of the fact sheet, they made sure to highlight the good stuff, the core Subnautica DNA, right? Building, crafting, exploring. Sounds like they're not reinventing the wheel, just, adding some sweet rims, maybe a turbocharger.
Yeah, refinement, not revolution. And get this, they specifically called out an overhauled building system. They're listening to the fans, I think.
Right.
Maybe more modularity. More freedom to build crazy, unique structures.
Oh, dude, imagine underwater fortresses with your friends, turrets, floodlights. Keep those leviathans at bay. This co-op thing just adds so much potential.
It really does. And that's just the building. They also mentioned something about uncovering secrets at the heart of the planet. Hints at a more involved story, maybe.
Which, let's be real, the first Subnautica nailed the story. Those PDA entries, the abandoned facilities, so creepy. They knew how to pull you into that world, make you feel like you were uncovering something truly ancient.
For sure. And with new biomes on the menu, who knows what's out there, more precursor lore, totally new life forms. Subnautica, they always walk that line between real science and sci-fi wonder so well. It sounds like they're doubling down on that.
I'm already hooked, man. And the best part, we don't have to wait forever. Early access launch, 2025, next year. And on. Like, everything. Steam, Epic, Xbox.
Smart move, that early access. For a game this big, gets it into the hands of players like us, get that feedback loop going, refine things. Love that collaborative approach.
It's like we're all on this huge expedition, right? Charting this underwater world, just with more giant sea monsters and hopefully less decompression sickness.
Exactly. And that's the thing that stands out looking at all of it. The trailer, the screenshots, that fact sheet. It's different, yeah, but it's still Subnautica, through and through.
Which, I'll admit, after that initial sequel announcement freak out we all had, it's a relief. Like, they took what we loved, turned it up to 11, and dove even deeper, Yeah, that's the feeling, right? Familiar, but different. Like, you bump into a friend, haven't seen them in ages, they went on some crazy adventure, and now they're back, even more interesting to talk to. Just, instead of travel stories, it's terrifying underwater escapades with things that have way too many teeth.
Love the analogy. And that's what's got me so hyped. We've dug into the creatures, the vehicles, those environments. But Subnautica, it's always been about the how. How do all these pieces come together? How do they make you feel when you're playing?
Right. It's not just exploring this world, it's doing it with friends this time. Finding those resources together, building a base you all share, maybe even having to, coordinate an escape from some giant sea monster. Those are the moments I'm thinking about.
And that's the beauty of these early looks, right? They've given us a taste, the ingredients, if you will, but now we get to savor the anticipation. Imagine what it'll be like to actually put it all together.
You're speaking my language. It's like reading a recipe, yeah, you get the idea, but then the actual cooking, the experimenting, the tasting, that's where the magic is.
Exactly. And in a way, that's what we get to do now, all of us. Take these early details, these hints, and start cooking up our own theories. What do WE think Subnautica 2 will be like?
So to you out there listening to this, as we're coming up from this deep dive, I gotta ask, what are you most excited for? Those secrets they mentioned, hidden deep down, exploring with your friends, or maybe just building the most awesome underwater base anyone's ever seen.
Whatever it is, we want to hear about it. Your theories, your hopes. Heck, even your fears.
Yeah.
Because let's be real, a little bit of fear. That's part of what makes Subnautica so good.
No argument here. So until next time, happy diving, everyone, and keep those oxygen tanks topped off, yeah? Who knows what's lurking down there in the dark?